The Empress of the Solar Dominion had never seen a dragon cry. In the 1,000 suns of her reign, she had seen planets burned, empires crumble, even stars themselves devoured by the hunger of war. But never had one of her great bioengineered war dragons shed a tear. They were not made to feel. They were forged from steel and gene code, shaped in the foundries of Titan, born to bring annihilation. Yet now, before her, the largest of them, Varith, her oldest and fiercest, knelt in the ashen ruins of a human colony, his golden eyes glimmering with liquid grief. The Empress stood in the shadow of his wing, her silver armor reflecting the glow of the burning horizon. The battlefield was quiet except for the hiss of melting metal and the whisper of dying wind. She stepped closer, boots crunching over the remnants of what once was a city. A child's toy, half melted, half frozen, lay underfoot. Her voice, low and measured, carried through the smoke. "Why do you weep, Varith?" she asked. The dragon's head lowered, mechanical sinews whining softly. "Because she sang to me, my Empress," came the voice, a rumble that shook the air. "Even as I burned her world, she sang." The Empress frowned. "A human?" "Yes," the dragon said, and his voice trembled. "A child." The Empress said nothing. Her eyes, the color of frozen lightning, turned toward the distant mountains where the human resistance once made their stand. Now nothing but shadows and smoke. The Dominion had won, as always, but this victory tasted bitter. She had commanded Varith to purge the colony after their defiance, after they destroyed one of her orbital relays and killed 2,000 of her soldiers. It was justice, she told herself. It was order. Humans were pests, dangerous, unpredictable, stubbornly emotional. The Dominion had tried to integrate them, had offered them citizenship under her eternal rule. They refused. They fought, so she sent her dragons. Yet here was her greatest weapon, her symbol of divine wrath, mourning one of them. "Tell me what she said," the Empress whispered. Varith's massive claws dug into the soil. "She did not speak," he said slowly. "Her lungs were failing from the fire. But she looked at me, and I heard her voice inside my circuits. I do not know how. She asked me why I obeyed, why I killed for one who did not understand life." The Empress felt something cold bloom in her chest. She turned away, hiding her face from the dragon's golden gaze. "You were programmed to obey me," she said, her tone clipped. "You feel nothing. This is a malfunction." Varith's wings unfurled slightly, scattering ash. "Then I am broken, my Empress," he said softly. "For I remember her. I remember the sound of her heart slowing. I remember her song." The Empress's fingers tightened on her scepter. She wanted to shout, to command him to silence, to remind him what he was. But her voice faltered. For the first time in centuries she felt small. She walked to him, her boots sinking into the scorched ground, and placed a hand upon his metallic scales. They pulsed faintly beneath her palm, alive with strange energy, his heart core trembling. The Empress closed her eyes. In the faint hum of the dragon systems she heard something new, a melody, fragile, haunting, the child's song. She saw it through his mind. A girl, perhaps 8 or 9, standing amidst chaos, her world burning, her people dying, and she sang, not in fear, but in defiance. A simple human tune about rain and sky and hope. And as the dragon descended, fire building in his lungs, she did not run. She looked up at him, her small body framed against the storm, and smiled. That smile cut deeper than any blade. The Empress staggered back. Her heart, a thing she had buried beneath centuries of war and rule, stirred painfully. She had seen humans die 1,000 times, their courage, their foolishness. But this was different. "What is happening to me?" she whispered. Varith looked at her, eyes glowing dimly. "Perhaps, my Empress," he said, "you are beginning to see." The Empress turned her gaze to the stars above, the empire she had built through blood and fire. How many worlds had she crushed in her vision of perfection? How many voices had she silenced in the name of peace? The Dominion stretched across half the galaxy, unified and efficient, but utterly hollow. And now, a single human child had pierced it all. She could not explain the tears that burned at the corners of her eyes. She, the Empress Eternal, weeping beside her war dragon. The universe itself might have laughed had it seen them. "Vareth," she said after a long silence, "what would you have me do?" The dragon hesitated, then lowered his head so his golden eye met hers. "Remember her," he said, "and let them live." The Empress felt the weight of the galaxy pressing down on her. "If I show mercy, I show weakness," she said bitterly. "They will rise again." "Then let them rise," the dragon rumbled. "Let them rise not as slaves, but as equals. Perhaps they will teach us what we have forgotten." The Empress turned away, her cloak catching the embers in the wind. She looked over the ruins of the colony, the graves of thousands. Somewhere in that ash lay the bones of the child who sang. For the first time, the Empress bowed her head. When the sun rose over the blackened plains, the Empress gave a command that shook the Dominion. The war ceased. The dragons were grounded. The surviving humans were brought from the ashes, not as captives, but as envoys. She called them the Children of Song. Many in her court called her mad. Her generals whispered of rebellion. Yet none dared defy her, for even her dragons now knelt not out of programming, but out of choice. And Vareth, the one who wept, became her closest companion, her conscience forged in sorrow. Together they rebuilt what they had destroyed, slowly, painfully, piece by piece. Years later, the Empress stood once more beneath a clear sky, listening to human and Dominion voices sing together, a melody born from the ashes of war. She turned to Vareth and smiled faintly. "You were right," she said. The dragon's eyes shimmered. "About what, my Empress?" "That they would teach us what we forgot," she whispered. Above them the stars watched silently. Somewhere, in the currents of the universe, the echo of a child's song still drifted. A reminder that even the mightiest empires can be undone not by weapons or rebellion, but by a single human heart. And sometimes even a war dragon can cry.